And today on Capitol Hill, the tentative deal to raise the debt ceiling is facing its first real test from lawmakers. Members of the House Rules Committee will convene this afternoon. They will debate and potentially vote on advancing the bill. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here with us in Studio 57 to talk more about how this spending bill could impact our finances. Jill, good morning. Always good to see you.
Good morning.
So let's talk a little bit about what is in this deal, this tentative deal, and how it could impact everyday Americans. How is this going to impact us?
The best news is that we don't have to, if this is signed, we don't have to actually talk about the debt ceiling for at least 2 years.
Oh,
so
that's
that's really the best news for all of us. So it really does put this weird sort of line in the sand and say, okay, we're not raising the debt ceiling, but we're suspending it for 2 years. So actually in 2 years, in January 25, past the presidential election, the debt ceiling remains at $31.4 trillion. But it's just we don't talk about it for 2 years. So that's one part of it. We have some spending cuts and freezes, which are something the Republicans really wanted. And it's funny because if you look at this, non-military spending stays flat for this year, and it goes up by 1%, just a 1% cap. So people have been saying to me, well, wait, it's an increase. How is that? Well, when you factor in inflation, it really acts as a reduction. So it's like you can go up by 1%, but if inflation's running 3 or 4%, essentially it's a cut. A couple of things that are really more consumer facing. We have the suspension of right now of student loan interest, right? And any payments. That has to end by the end of August. This is regardless of what happens in the Supreme Court, which is about the actual forgiveness. This just says September 1, the clock is starting. You're going to repay your loans. We have a big change in SNAP recipients that the age requirement where you have to find work goes up from age 49 to 54. So now it's 18 to 54. I think that's going to impact a lot of people who were really thinking that I don't have to go back to work. And maybe if you are poor, this is going to be a big lift for you. So that's among some of the big parts. Oh, and one other thing. The IRS is getting some cutting to the funding, and we had an $80 billion allocation to the IRS through the Inflation Reduction Act. 21.4 of that is going to get reallocated to other areas. I don't love this because, to me, you want more people at the IRS. We want better service, and we want everyone to pay their taxes. So as someone who does interact with human beings, as like real people who want their tax refunds, I kind of like the IRS to have more funding.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of, President Biden's kind of whole campaign was that we're going to beef up the IRS, and that way we'll have access to more money because we're leaving all this money on the table because the IRS is like funded at an anemic level. That's sort of what he said.
Exactly.
So then, with everything that you've said, is there anything that we can do to lessen the impact that this deal could have on us? But it's hard for me to. I think a lot of people might not feel it that much.
I don't think that, like most people, I think if you're a SNAP recipient and you're 51 years old, you're freaking out. So I don't know what you really do about that. If you're a student and you're looking at repaying your loans, I think you always thought the clock was going to start ticking anytime soon. And for those folks, I would start really stockpiling some cash to make those payments. I mean, look, I don't think that most individuals have a real action item that we take away from this. But I will say that this whole experience reminds me of like what a nag I can be when I say to you, how, you know what, you really need 3 to 6 months or 6 to 12 months of your real core expenses in an emergency reserve fund. Things come out of the blue. And you know what? We're not done with this deal yet. And if for some reason this does not get signed, there will be repercussions in the marketplace to people who are federal employees. And for those folks, I just can't stress enough. You need 6 to 12 months of your emergency funding set aside in a safe account, which has FDIC insurance, less than $250,000.
I hear your voice every time I want to click on that Instagram ad that somehow just like talked up that exact thing that I didn't know I needed. And then I hear Jill say, wait a minute.
You know what? You're a stronger person than I am because I actually go through with it. But Jill, on that note, can you talk a little bit more about all of this, given that if this deal does not go through and the government defaults on its debt, what happens immediately for Americans?
Well, you know, last week I was really concerned because Janet Yellen and the administration was saying we will not be able to make payments on June 1st and June 2nd. Those were huge, tens of millions of dollars to military service people, pensions, and then Social Security checks. I think we get through that. But what happens after that is really critical because if we don't have a deal, we probably get a real downgrade from Standard & Poor's and Fitch and these credit rating agencies. What does that do? It makes the cost of borrowing for the government go up It makes the stock market go down.
Yeah.
And it really puts a lot of disarray into the financial system. And what that can really cause is a recession. We're already thinking that the economy is slowing down this year, right? We had all these interest rate increases. Prices are still pretty high. Things are slowing down. A debt ceiling crisis and breaching of the debt ceiling, a downgrade of the U.S. debt, will mean that we are ever closer to a recession. And I think that's the part that becomes really scary to economists that I speak to.
Scary to us, too, and we're not economists. Jill Schlesinger, thank you very much.
Thanks.